Good morning, everybody. What's up? Hopefully everyone has had a great and awesome Christmas. As we are headed to the new year, it almost seems that this RAM situation is never ending. What's up, guys? What's up, Blue Lily? Glad you're here. LSG, as always, Xenomorph. Zachary, what's up? I have no reason to make a new PC until Witcher 4 and GTA 6. I can completely understand, especially with the volatility that has been going on with the RAM production situation. There's been quite a bit of news that's been stirring up more and more about this whole RAM situation. I can start off with you guys. What's up, Alice? Good to see you. So the whole situation that's been going on, it seems that Microsoft, Google, all the main companies that really needs RAM, especially when it comes to servers and AI, they're starting to get jealous of OpenAI. In fact, that they're a bit upset that they weren't able to secure RAM. They actually started doing some firing amongst their employees because they were unable to secure RAM for their side of their servers and on both AI and HBMs, which is a bit insane. So, plus the new mid-range is going to be 24 gigabytes in the near future. That makes sense. Yeah, which is true. That's something that I would recommend to everybody. If you are planning to get a GPU, make sure to get something that's at least over 16 gigabytes, because then you can fully take advantage of a GPU that way. You won't have to worry about any type of input lag, or you want to be able to get the full resolution, especially if you're trying to game in something like 4K. It does matter in that sense. Yeah, right, Xenomorph? It's more poor. I feel bad more for the employees that work there than actual Microsoft. They're just Microsoft, Google, they're all pretty pissed. I'm pretty sure Samsung's upset with their side when it comes to the whole, when it comes to their semiconductors. So, hey, at least the ASUS will be making DDR5. We are saved. But that's exactly the problem, LSG. In fact, it's pretty interesting that you brought this up, and I will definitely bring that up in just a bit. What's up, Waffle Skater? Awesome to see you. Over 16 gigabytes. Does that mean my 5080 is trashed? No. 16 gigabytes is actually really good for many people that are gaming. And the reason being is because 16 gigabytes, it gives you enough cap room, especially if you're looking to get more of a higher refresh rate monitor, which we will certainly get into. ASUS, LG, Samsung, they're all coming out with these brand new displays, which will definitely give some positive notes on the whole industry side. We'll see some sort of changes that way. Of course, AMD is working on their 9850X3D, and same thing with the 9950X3D2. That seems that it is certain to come out with even dual V-cache, which we will talk about in a bit. I'm waiting on the RTX 60s. Oh, they probably, what's going to be funny, that they are more than likely going to end up doing that. That's good. You know what's funny, Alice? Yes. And this is what I gotta bring up, guys. So the whole situation about ASUS making RAM, it seems that it's actually spread way out of control, that whole rumor. And even though it seems that they were going to make RAM, it seems that's actually not going to happen. And even if they were to create RAM, the biggest problem that ASUS would have is that they would be able to have the PCBs, they would be able to have those heat spreaders, but they would be unable to get their hands on something like DRAM. Fortunately, DRAM is all going to be manufactured from Micron, Samsung, and also SK Hynix. So that's that issue. Unfortunately, there's no way around it unless ASUS decides to build their own fabs, which would be, I would say, quite interesting, especially if they decided to get into semiconductors. So Blue Lily says 5080 is slightly more powerful than the 5070 Ti and has $200 difference. It's not that bad of a GPU, but it's bad for the price. Yeah, I'm curious about who did the whole pricing scheme when it came to Nvidia. It's great that they changed the pricing for the RTX 5080 because originally the RTX 4080, if everybody remembers, was originally $1,300 when they first released. And it got so much backlash for it being priced so high that they ended up pushing down the price when it finally came to the 5080 series. But now with the 4070s, I feel that they are priced slightly higher than they should be priced a bit more fair in that sense. So I do agree there. This is Ramageddon. It's going to pass like the GPU crisis from 20 to 2021 and then scalpers for another few months. That's what we're all looking forward to, right? We're all looking forward to the scalpers making the movements, making the calls in the markets. So Jennifer says, in my country, I bought the 5080 for $1,900. Oh, really? Acer makes RAM with ASUS tough branding. Oh, really? Acer? I have not seen that yet. So maybe that's how the whole rumor probably ended up starting. Originally, I know it came from an article. And for some reason, when it came from this article, it actually came from an article over in Taiwan. And it spread like wildfire. Wildfire. So they were questioned. ASUS was also questioned about this whole situation about creating RAM, and unfortunately they had denied the allegations. Even if they are going to create something like that, maybe they are hiding it behind a wall and they just can't officially announce it yet. But for now, there is not going to be any RAM from ASUS. But we know for sure that Corsair, and we do know for sure G-Skill, and also when it comes to Kingston, all your typical RAM companies are still going to attempt to produce RAM, but they are also having trouble getting their hands on DRAM, especially because of all the HBM productions that are focused on the whole AI side. What's up, Race? Yeah, sure. Feel free to ask your question. Waffle Skater says, man, the 5070s at Micro Center near me were closer to $900. And I got my 5080 Founders Edition for at MSRP at $100 and $200 difference. Felt it was worth it. Absolutely. You made a wise move, Waffle Skater. One thing I certainly do regret is that earlier this year, I was able to get my hands on a RTX 5090 Founders Edition. But I chose to opt out of it because I felt like I didn't really need it. And it's pretty funny to think about because now I ended up getting the ASUS Noctua's RTX 5080. Love the GPU and everything, but of course, who wouldn't take 32 gigabytes over something that's 16 gigabytes? But that was one thing I should have ended up picking up when I had the chance. I wonder if Nvidia is going to continue to sell GPUs. Of course, they are planning to cut down production quite a bit when it comes to RTX 5070s and RTX 5070 Ti's. So more than likely, if you're going to see more price increases, it's definitely going to be around that range before it starts cutting into the 5080s and 5090s. But 5090s would certainly be the last because that's where they want to make their bulk GPUs. So, but guess whose chips that they are using it for and think it's not them making it. So, yeah, sure. Send it over to Discord. Would love to see it. So, yes, Gigasus. Gigasus is definitely the rumor. You got the Gigabyte and ASUS collaboration. So, Race Digger Boys first says, I recently paid 1,400 euros for DDR5 CL28 6000 megahertz. Oh wow, that's quite hefty, and that is for 192 gigabytes. Okay, 192 gigabytes for 48. Okay, so you got for 48 gigabytes per RAM module. So you have 4 total. Is that good for your Tai Chi board and your 99? That is a bit insane, I have to say. First off, Raze, I have to ask, what are you planning to do with 192 gigabytes of RAM? It's awesome that you're able to obtain it. It's also quite hefty and expensive. That is quite Unless you're using it for, I guess, you're using it for server grade use, or you're using it to create some LLMs, I'm assuming. Wishing for Intel's memory comeback with Intel's Optane. That it's funny because they ended up selling that whole side of it when it came to the storage side. So Waffle Skater says Micro Center on the 24th had 7 Zotacs 5090s for 2000, and it was gone by 9th. Oh, really? That's quite crazy. So what do I think about AMD first and video cards right now? Honestly, I'm more worried about the whole RAM situation more than the whole GPU wars. Now, here's something that's unfortunate news that I do have to break for everybody out there, that it seems that AMD is not coming out with RDNA 5 during the whole CES 2026. Even if they do, it seems that more than likely RDNA 5 isn't going to be released until 2027. So I'm not sure if the whole RAM situation had to do with that as well, because they don't have, obviously, the video RAM in order for them to create what they are planning to, but they did say that they are pushing it to 2027. Hopefully we get to see a gist of something during the whole CES 26 show, because I would assume that would definitely be on their list, especially their bigger list on showings, if they want to get a bit more competitive when it comes to the GPU market. So Zenomore says, how was your yes, Micro Center rags. That's all a guy can ask for. Some Micro Center rags. So playing modded Minecraft and Roblox on very big 4K video edits. Oh, okay. So I mean, you can do way more than just a 4K video edit, but especially with 192 gigabytes of RAM is quite large. But you will have no issues if you are using something like Adobe and you're going through After Effects and you're doing the whole 9 yards, practically every single effect you can ever imagine with 192 gigabytes. You will have no issues really multitasking on that side. But modded Minecraft and Roblox, I gotta say, really, how much RAM will that end up taking? That's quite a bit. I'm just mainly worried since people said 4 sticks is worse. So people are not wrong about that. Now it's 192 gigabytes is a lot, I gotta say. Not for modded for modded Minecraft. To be honest, you're probably good enough to just put in a dual RAM and you're pretty much set. Now, if you are planning to do a lot of like 4K editing and much more larger edits, I would assume you could go into like 8K edits depending on your GPU. I'm assuming you have a high grade GPU if you're spending 192 gigabytes of RAM, because the GPU certainly matters a lot more than when it comes to the whole gaming aspect, and when it also comes to using things like DaVinci. But I would honestly say you're good enough to go with your 96. If you are running it for gaming, just run the 96. If you are using it for production usage, then it's good for you to use it completely. I would honestly also recommend, I'm assuming you said you had a 9950 X3D, so that's going to be good enough for like using it for production. But obviously, it's, I gotta say, it's a very, very interesting build day that you have there. That it's an awesome build, I gotta say, but 192 gigabytes is certainly a lot. Is there any difference between DisplayPort and graphics card, and which port? Yes, the DisplayPort is actually much more responsive when it comes to gaming. Of course, HDMI has improved over the years. You could use HDMI, but DisplayPort is certainly the more recommended way to go, as it sends signal much better and much more less. You'll definitely have a lot less input lag, more than anything when it comes to it. I build a PC with a water cooling system. How many radiators do I need? I plan to build with 3. So I think lowering your temperature on your PC components, the longer the better. That's absolutely correct. The better you cool your system, your PC components will certainly last longer. Now, if you are looking to cool, say, your CPU and your GPU, those are the most critical components when it comes to your PC. You can do it that way. If you're, so that's like about, you just honestly need just like about 2 at the most, I would say. You can go with a third one. Some people go as crazy as water cooling RAM, but honestly, it's not really needed. So I'm saying 2 would be certainly good enough if you're using, say, a large GPU and you have a CPU, and that'll actually cool a lot of your heavy lifting, and it would remain cool. What's important too is also you want a decent water pump. So, oh, it was Patriot. Okay, awesome. We'll take a look in that a little bit. Blue Lily. I did remember something along the lines of that. Should I sell half? I mean, you could. You'll make some of your money back. I would certainly sell half because more than likely you're probably not going to need the other 2 48GB modules, because again, that is a ton of RAM that you already have. That's a lot of power in your hands there. But I'm pretty sure someone will buy right off you with no problem. But just make sure you follow market conditions when it comes to pricing. Don't be one of those scumbags out there trying to sell it more for what it is, because it's bad as it is already. So Alice says, might be good to sell half, and yes, you can honestly do that. What's up, Amir? Good to see you. So you need you need 9. Chris, the shirts are gone from your shop. Oh, really? They're all gone? Oh, which ones? I got to double check it. Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. What's up, Alex? Good to see you. Also, just to let everybody know, if you're looking for your merch, you can also hit exclamation point and merch. I did put that command in, so you're more than welcome to get the link out. If you want to join the Discord, it's also, you can hit exclamation point and go into Discord that way. And we do have the alert commands. We also have every other command that is needed, hopefully, for the most part. If I'm missing any, feel free to let me know, and I'll certainly work on it. So, magnetic keyboards are suddenly a lot cheaper. I don't know if I should focus on high-end mechanical from brands or choose a cheap mechanical one with the insane features of Hall effects and everything. Now, that's a great question. Now, it all depends on what you're really looking for in your keyboard. If you really care about RGBs and you really care about being about your lighting, then most people end up going with a brand due to that reason. Also, there are other options such as creating your keyboards. They do have keyboard kits for anyone out there that is interested. You get to pick out your switches for your keyboard, and you pick out your different keys depending on what you would like. So they do have those type of options, and it's honestly not really too hard to build a keyboard, and it would certainly, a lot of you guys I know would certainly love it. And then you can put kind of like your RGB of your choice then. Or you can just go with a bigger brand. You could go with something like Corsair. Corsair has a lot of options when it comes to their keyboards as well. Of course, you have many big brands. I certainly like Woot's definitely another great brand out there. One of those underrated ones. Ooh. You got to pull. And Noctua is the best brand. Noctua is excellent. Now, if you're looking for cool, no problem, Raze. Thank you for subscribing. So, Rainbow Loves Coffee, what's up? I have a 25 quid keyboard from Nunet. So, would you recommend switching from Corsair K70 over to a K100? I gotta say, the K100 is awesome. Now, I can certainly say when it comes to the K100, it's a bit more optical. So, the K70 is more switches. And of course, it depends on the type of switch you have. They do, I think it's 2 different ones. I think it's red and brown. I think or they call it Cherry MX for Corsair. Now, if you switch over to optical, it's a lot more sensitive. The polling rate is much more higher. It goes up to 8,000 hertz, so it's super responsive. If you're pretty heavy fingered, it will certainly it will certainly drag whatever key that you're pressing on. Like, for example, if you're pressing A, it's going to drag A across the screen with no issue. Certainly one of the most responsive keyboards out there. Highly recommend it. K100, and it's highly customizable. Give it a shot. See how you would like it. See how you like the feel of it first Some people might not like the feel of it. Some people prefer more of the more mechanical feel where it has more of a click to it. They do also have the option where you can swap it out to more of a mechanical feel if you choose to. And I think they also have the cherry, I think it's the cherry browns, specifically on the K100s, if they still produce it in browns as well. But I know the main ones is going to be browns, and they do also have optical switches. So, mate, how's it going, buddy? I was asking until when graphic cards will hike. I'm thinking of buying a 5060 and also suggest me a budget processor and motherboard. Okay, sure thing. Yeah, I'll answer your question too, Shawnee. Shawner. And let me first answer Moon Knight's question here. That's a great question because for anyone that is looking into purchasing a GPU, it's certainly a great time to purchase about now. So you want to try to purchase as soon as possible because as soon as they have less GPUs out there, the more harder it's going to get, which equals shortage. So if the more people who end up buying, say, 5060s, 5070s, or any card that's going to end up like more popular on the consumer end, of course, those cards are going to be the higher selling points because, of course, they're cheaper. Now, if you end up getting the card, I would say get it as soon as you can. If you wait a bit too long, more than likely into like January, you're going to see a lot of the price hikes start to happen, especially when it comes to the VRAM, because you have a lot of people out there right now that's either got a GPU for Christmas or those who had gift cards or got some cash for Christmas are going to want to spend a little bit of extra money on something like GPUs. So they're going to end up selling quite a bit until January. Once January hits, AMD has already announced the price hikes for their side. NVIDIA doesn't really have to announce it because for them, they're practically giving their PCBs with their GPU over to the brand names such as ASUS and Gigabyte and all of them, and they're the ones that are going to be responsible to get the VRAM, and that's what's going to make the pricing go up a bit because of that. So I would certainly recommend getting a GPU as soon as you can. Now, when it comes to a motherboard and CPU, if you're looking for a cheaper combination, I would highly recommend something like a 9600X or even as something like a 7800X3D if you're looking for something really cheap. If the minimal gap matters to you, if you can spend a little bit extra, I would say then just go ahead and go to the, if hopefully it releases by then, but the 9600X3D would be nice. But if you can't, go with something like a 7600X, depending on how tight your budget is, or even up to a 7800X3D if you have a bit more. Motherboard wise, you want to go something more like a B850 or a X870E would be good. And also a bigger thing I would also worry about a bit more than CPUs and RAM is also, I mean, not CPUs and motherboards, is the RAM. See, I got RAM stuck in my mind. You want to make sure to secure your hands on some RAM because that's highly volatile. Now, I don't know why some people are saying that the prices are stagnating. In fact, that the prices has gone up since we last looked on our Christmas edition stream. It's gone up quite a bit, $25 to $30 more when you look at both RAM and when it comes to SSDs, M.2s. So you want to certainly make your get your hands on something like that too. So I would say get your GPU first, secure your hands on RAM, and because the CPUs and the motherboards are going to end up not fluctuating nearly as much as those two. So I have, let's see. Shorner says, I have an i9 13900KF and a 5070. Would a 9850X3D be a significant upgrade? It's hard to say quite yet. If you're gaming on 1440, you already have a 5070. Depends on the type of titles that you are playing. Now, it's rumored that they are going to have dual V cache. It's not going to be a large jump as something like Zen 6. I expect Zen 6 to be a much larger upgrade. I feel that the 9850X3D and the 9950X3D, the two are best for those who are just getting into building and what's the best at the current time. Because Zen 6 is planned to be more released around late 2026. If you can hang around then, more than likely you're going to see a much better and much more higher quality, because this is kind of like Zen 5.5, so to say, more than likely, because it's still based on Granite Ridge, so it's not going to be the larger leap to Zen 6 just quite yet. So I don't know why I had the optical Razer version 3, and I bought Wooting 80HE, put the Gatorin Jade switches, the Akko LA PBT keycaps, thinking of also buying KBD fans from their custom case of the 88. That would be nice. That would be pretty dope if you were able to do that. So I just paid $1,004 for a Rider 9800 X3D and 32 gigabytes RAM. So how you like it, Synapse? I have an optical keyboard from Razer. Is switching to magnetic better? Magnetic's also nice. The thing that's nice about magnetic is that it's going to be super responsive as well. It's also less wear on your keys, because it's not going to be really technically like mechanical. They do have like it's practically like Hall switches, like when it comes to like joysticks. That's what those magnetic switches are. They also, you know what's pretty wild too? They even have like the regular Hall effects sticks where they respond on how much pressure you put on your key is on your key. It will respond in that sense. So if you're looking at 5060s, might do it soon, because they're not cutting production. Is not the 5060s from what I heard. It's mostly the 5070s and the 5070 Ti's. That's a great question, Waffle Skater. I'm pretty happy with the 13900 KF. I wouldn't have a significant upgrade that would improve my gaming performance. Most people are. Takuma, what's going on? Glad to see you. I got a 4080 Super from Facebook Marketplace for $700. That's a steal. I'm glad you're able to do it. That's one thing that's definitely one of those underrated moves is you can take a look at the used market. If you're able to, make sure to test it out. Make sure it's working properly. If you are able to get a say a used GPU, you want to make sure to be able to test it into a system if you can. So Alice says that MSI B850 power you should check it out. Looks crazy with the external postcode debug. Oh, I definitely will. I would love to. It's their new budget overclocking motherboard. So thanks, man. It's always a pleasure interacting with you. And yeah, I got my hands on RAM and SSDs on other stuff, just a Jeep. Okay, awesome. So Moon Knight, you're almost there. You're not too far. I can't wait for you to get your build finished. Would love to see it into Discord. And Michael, I recently subbed because I love the way you explain. I watch a lot of your videos. I am confused. I bought the 7800 X3D, tough B850 Plus, and tough B5060 Ti. Is that a good combination? YouTube confuses me sometimes. I would say it's a decent combination. 5060 Ti is definitely a great one, depending on the type of resolution that you're playing. But you actually have made a really decent selection, especially if you're looking to game on something like 1080p. 1440 would certainly do well as well. If you're trying to push 4K, then that would be a different story. But for those resolutions, you will certainly be able to fulfill all your needs on many of the AAA games that you're looking for. Also, always thank you guys who subscribe to the channel. And for those who are just coming in, I'm Chris Mizo. I talk about PC and tech. And then thank you guys for all coming in. Honestly, if you got the 13900 KF and 5070, would recommend selling the 5070 and take the motherboard and CPU money and buy a higher end GPU. That i9 ain't no slouch. That's if you're like a true gamer, and this is for everybody that mostly games. You do not need a crazy multi-core processor. It's not necessary unless you are planning to do things like streaming, or if you're planning to do things like video production, then you will need the higher core count. So Waffle Skater is completely correct there. So does AM5 contact frame is worth the upgrade from the standards? Now, the contact frame is a optional upgrade. Anyone can certainly do it. Originally, it was created because of the thermal paste that would spread into the grooves, and a lot of people would have complaints of that, and it would end up slipping into something like the pins, where everyone wants to avoid. Now, some claim that the contact frame also does help keep the CPU a bit cooler because it has more of an area where it can spread. So it's not going to be a traumatic upgrade from that unless you are very CPU intensive. So this awesome. Glad that I do. Z-Man's. So good morning. Good morning, Z-Man. My laptop has DDR4. It's funny. Everyone's looking at their devices now, like, oh, this actually has some RAM in there. I could use it. You know who can use it? Microsoft. Microsoft and Google will certainly need it. They're trying to get their hands on every type of RAM that they can. My laptop has DDR4 8GB sticks, 2 lanes, and 4GB. Want to go 32GB of RAM. It was $99 last year, but it's now up to 250. So let me know when it. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not. If I were you, so Casey, I gotta say, do you have a PC build? Because now might be the time to end up selling your RAM and start thinking of moving on to a bigger thing. What do you suggest? A new 5060 or any second-hand card that falls around the price point? Now, if I would say if you're able to get your hands on something like a 5070 Ti, I think that would 100% fulfill everything that you are looking for when it comes to gaming, including 4K. But if you can't, and you're unable to find something of that magnitude, unable to find a 5070 Ti for in the used marketplace, then I would say go for the 5060 Ti then. But if you can get a 5070 Ti, and make sure to test it, most importantly, and also check it physically. You want to make sure that this person that wasn't rough with their GPU, especially around where the gold fingers are when it comes to the GPU. Specifically, you're gonna want to look around the PCB part, which I'll show you. I would have to take it off the sin. The gold finger part on the GPU. You want to make sure that it's not cracked any from the weight of it being sitting in the PC. If it was sitting in any particular manner to where it could cause the PCB to crack, especially overheat. So you want to look for that, and you want to also make sure that it is working properly. So with Athlon and CPU and Radeon iGPU, 2GB of RAM shared from DDR4 RAM. $1 trillion. Yeah, it needs RAM. Sucks. I know, right? I'm pretty sure they got a decent amount. It's funny how greedy they can get. Both Microsoft and Google are in desperate need of RAM. So they got so upset about the whole situation that their people who are in charge of it when it comes to securing RAM have been pretty much let go of. They fired them and said, like, hey, like, you aren't able to secure RAM. It's your fault that our company is now not going to do well anymore. So I've still got the spare G skill. I know. Amir, when you mentioned that, I thought about you too. Like when we were talking about this, because that was one video I was supposed to create, was about doing the whole CU dim and doing a comparison on it, and comparison with memory, also with ECC as well. And Amir actually brought this up like way earlier in the year. I would say like back in probably like April or May, I'd say. And I still haven't had a chance to be able to obtain it, but I did remember, Amir. I certainly did. It just sucks now. It's gotten to the way it is. Now it's almost near impossible to get it now. Whether 5090 Or's WB or ASUS Astro with water block from the third branch will give me great temperature. I look forward to seeing that build. Have you discussed NVIDIA's plan on to push gamers into, yeah, it's funny because we were just talking about this on Wednesday during the whole Christmas day, like about the whole situation about when it came to NVIDIA, and the fact that even NVIDIA now, they're also even required, they're saying that there is a limit to you gaming on the NVIDIA cloud. They said that you are no longer to go past 100 gigabytes. So if you use up the NVIDIA now, you use up all that data. Because I'm sure I remember Waffle Skater was like quite intrigued about hearing this, because If you guys don't know what the NVIDIA cloud is, or the NVIDIA Now is, it's practically their cloud that you can game on. So you can have a really crappy PC, doesn't matter, and you would practically draw from their servers where they have 4090s installed, where you would play on. And you'll pay probably like $30 a month to play on their servers. But after you pay the $30 a month, you are limited to 100 gigabytes of usage for that month. So they are thinking about doing that. So isn't that pretty insane that they're demanding everybody who is paying for a service that they're also limited to the usage of gaming? So, Leon, what's up? Feel free to ask Leon. I see you. So Casey says no more desktop, only laptop at the time. Okay. I mean, you know, it's a good time to get into it, especially if you get your money's worth out your RAM. So Waffle Skater said, what's the difference between the 570-ish 9070X? Not really. Honestly, Waffle Skater, it's not really. That's a very valid question for you to post there, because obviously it's honestly not that much of a difference when it comes to it. It's just going to be the cooling, and it's going to be the overclocking and the manufacturing cost on depending who it is. For example, like say an ASUS TUF RX 9070 XT can be different, obviously in different costs compared to ASRock's Taichi 9070 XT, and they're going to try to clock the GPU and overclock it with how far they can do it with their setup when it comes to their fans. So it's really, you're paying for that side of it, and you're also paying for the brand to really kind of match for your PC. So it doesn't really matter which one you would go with. Obviously, the lower ones typically are the ones that don't have as high of capability compared to the higher end ones, as the higher end ones comes with fancier brackets, comes with more features, so to say. Things like LCD displays it can have on the GPU, different, much more, has RGBs all over the GPU, you know, things like that. So you pay more for those type of features. Yes, yes, Pertabo. I'm glad you mentioned this. Yes, I did. It's been tough. Are you not reading? No, I'm reading it. It's all in there. So one, there's a pre-owned card that does not have much warranty, maybe 1 week or less. What's up, Rugal? Good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. It's yeah, it's just it's very it's moving pretty quick, the chat, for me. So I apologize if I missed any comments. Feel free to ask again. So Rugal says some higher end variants have voltage. Yes, I'm glad Rugal has mentioned that, and that is certainly the case. Let me see. I'll highlight, in fact, what Rugal has said. So, can we be honest? That's roughly $3 a day. I know, it honestly is not that much. Like 100 gigabytes is like nothing. That anybody's gonna burn through that real quick. A blink of Ryzen 5 with NVMe 1 terabyte and 32 gigabytes of entire mini PC. That's actually really cheap. For a whole mini PC for $400, that's like as much, that's worth as much as the RAM that's put in. It also makes me question what kind of RAM do they have put in that mini PC for it to reach that level. Might as well get a Chromebook. You know, they do have this new thing that they are trying. It's called, like, I think it's WebGL. And this whole WebGL, that you're actually able to game, like full-on games. Like, they actually demoed, I forget exactly which game it was, but it was something like Arkham Asylum. They were able to game on a browser. So could you imagine that? That would be pretty dope. Like, all you have to do is go into the browser, and you're able to play a game of your choice like that. You just type in whatever host, wherever you're hosting it, and you're able to game it. As long as if your PC has the GPU power to able to handle the whole the WebGL version of it. So currently arrived at Clayton, New Mexico in the virtual. Awesome, Simply Takuma. Egyptian, what's up? I'm glad to see you here. Morning lucky upvote number 13. Someone help us out. Did you see Asus? Now I do have to unfortunately bust some bubbles out there for whoever's excited for this Asus RAM. Unfortunately, I don't think it's honestly going to happen. And it seems like it's been kind of resolved for the most part, that it's been more a myth because Asus denies any of these allegations. So they're saying that it seems that it was a rumor that it's gotten quite out of hand from a Taiwan article. And from there, Asus had denied the allegations because obviously they don't have any fabs to be able to produce the RAM, unfortunately. If they did, that would be awesome, but they would also require to get it from SK Hynix, Samsung, and every other brand as well, like Micron. But unfortunately, Micron is very hyper focused. They released pretty much their last bit of RAM that they had to the consumer side in the SSDs, and now it's all practically then after this, like after this year, after this week, in fact, Crucial will be gone. I know, wouldn't that be insane? The browser running Crisis. So when do you think the Steam Frame? It's those. I'll tell you right now, Steam Frame, Steam Machine, and all those consoles that we're supposed to end up getting is going to be a bit delayed. And the reason being is because that they are, the RAM has affected them. In fact, it's affected them so much that everyone who is a fan of Half-Life 3, it's affected us even, which is a bit insane. So unfortunately, it's going to be a bit until we actually get to see that back in action. So I think more than likely we'll end up seeing Steam Frame and Steam Machine though, like towards probably the end of 2026, maybe November of 2026 or something. Crucial. What's in it? It's so Crucial's Micron. So if you end up getting their RAM or getting their storage devices, they're really decent. They're great. Only problem with Micron is if you are planning to do things like overclocking, it's very limited. You don't have as much flexibility compared to something like SK Hynix if you were. Now, most people don't really care for that. They're just going to go into Expo and you're pretty much good because it's gotten to the point where overclocking RAM is a bit overkill, especially if you have an X3D processor, as it is. No, the internet already said that. I know it's... since the internet doesn't lie, I know. It's pretty funny. Like, you see the things that how much AI has been like put onto the internet, and now people are unable to tell the true the from reality and what is real and what's not. 2028 should be consumer DDR6. Yes, I think it'll be soon when it comes to DDR6, and I hope it does happen. But I think Intel, as always, they're going to be the ones that are going to try to jump the gun and be able to be the ones that first come out with it. And I was thinking more than likely they would be the ones to end up showing it, especially with their whole Panther Lake. I know they want to show their capabilities, how it can compete with something like TSMC. So if anybody, it would certainly be Intel because they were also the first with DDR5. And even when DDR5 first released, it was the same way. They were just as DDR5 was also really expensive when it first came out. It was nearly the same prices, but obviously now it's like quite a bit worse compared to then. Like for like 32 gigabytes of RAM, to buy a decent kit, you had to spend like $300 to $330 for some RAM. And this was back in 2021. And obviously over time, it's gone down dramatically. And now it seems like it suddenly has gone back up. And it's the same thing with consoles. When you look at PS5, you look at Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch 2, they've all been affected in this way. So it seems that, unfortunately, when it comes to the whole side of RAM, it seems that it's going to be a continuous problem until we have the fabs to be able to resolve the issue. Hopefully SK Hynix extends a lot sooner than they expect, and then they can fulfill the whole consumer side as well, which would be nice. So let's see. Print Screen says they said DDR6 is 2026 and 2027, but with RAM shortages, I can see 2028 for DDR6. So Um, yeah, it's possible. It all depends on how the manufacturer is going to do it. For the most part, it seems that until the fabs get finished with SK Hynix, they are extending their side. Samsung is also trying to fulfill their needs because they can't even sell their trifold. I don't know if anyone has seen that recently, but that was pretty crazy. That somebody actually bent the phone, do like the bend test with the Samsung trifold phone, and it just didn't do well. It just like broke right away. But that was one of the devices they obviously needed RAM for, and of course they were unable to fulfill that order. DDR4 3200 is good enough. I just got DDR1, so I'm like, oh man. So Intel's iGPU is crazy good compared to what AMD offers, unless they have it. Yes. So the rumor is that, not really so to say rumor, but they're supposed to come out with a 9000G, and that's going to happen during CES. So I want the Intel. Oh, I bet you do, Squeeze. Trump's. Oh, this is. I feel this is more to do with AI more than anything, unfortunately, when it comes to the whole RAM situation. Oh yeah, yeah, sure. So I'm going to check out Discord, guys. Let's switch our mode real quick, and we're going to check out Discord to see what Xenomorph has said. Blue Lily also said something. I do apologize for getting to it so late, but this is what it is. So right here, guys, I am switching over. And here it is. So this was the RAM that Blue Lily was talking about. This was actually a combination between a share. So they actually came with a Patriot Viper Elite 5 version. I remember seeing this, that they were trying to get involved. This was their Predator edition, when they were trying to sell RAM. Obviously, it's going to be expensive no matter what type of RAM that you are going to aim for. So let's go to the round table here. And Genomorph has sent us, of course you sent us this. So we're going to go click this out. We're going to check it out. And here it is. That is quite interesting. When did you find these? This DJ Colbrand. Now, NVIDIA RAM, it depends on your usage. What are you looking to use it for, DJ? So while swapping out my cards, my iGPU couldn't handle the wallpaper engine. It was stuttering. Yeah, you know what's wild? It can take up quite a bit. If you're using wallpaper engine, it just depends on the type of usage that you are looking for when it comes to it. Because you could actually use up like quite a bit of memory. You could use a lot of system resources if you wanted to. But most people don't opt to do that. So desktop version, you know, I'll throw that question. How about this? I'll poll everybody, and it's everyone's opinion about what GPU would they go for when it comes to it. So let's see what the majority is. So I'm gonna put out a poll for everybody in just a bit, and the poll will ask just as DJ has asked, which is NVIDIA or there we go. Apologize for that. Yeah. I got it. I apologize for that, guys. Yeah, I meant to put myself on. I hope you guys got to hear it. I put the poll up. It probably happened when I was typing the poll because I got to change that key up now. I figured that now. But anyway, The Kaiju one is pretty dope. Uh, so anyone can vote on the poll. So you can vote 1, 2, or you can vote 3. Intel. Oh wow. That just gives you an idea. That just shows the popularity between the two. So if you put Intel, you put 3, DJ. So that's how you'll vote on the poll, and that's how you move it. There you go. Now we get the majority voters here. Okay, so Kaiju number 8 looks pretty dope. We do have Project Weeb coming up. So we could use something like that. Doesn't look bad. I like that. I do like the back of it. That's pretty dope, actually. I just wonder if it looks just like how it looks in person. I'm surprised with the Intel. I am too. I'm surprised no one went for AMD. I would think there's a lot more AMD users out there now. And then they also have the solo leveling one. This one, damn, that's actually way more than I thought. $400. I just realized. So it includes the case, the wall art, and the desk mat. That's pretty crazy. I would love to see what the case looks like if you're paying $400 for it. 12 gigabytes of VRAM of B850. There you go. That's the main reason. That's crazy. It works, but I want to use parts to get... Okay. Go ahead, Squeeze. Do what you do best. Overclocking power supplies. That looks pretty amazing, too. That doesn't look bad. Now, I do want to show you guys this who are interested in the whole AMD 9850X3D is this. So now it seems that the 9950X3D has 16 cores, 32 threads, right? That's no different than the regular 9950X3D. What's different is it has up to 192 megabytes of L3 cache, which is quite a lot. So it's going to have dual 3D V cache. So instead of just having a non-V cache and one V cache CCD, it's going to actually have dual. So this will be a great and beneficial for any games that are quite CPU intensive. So great on games such as Unreal Engine 5. It would probably perform phenomenal on something like that. But the only part where it's going to suffer for the X3D2 is when it comes to more of the multitask ability. So double the shade Ace Rock is going to kill it. 5.3 gigahertz base from what it says, but up to its not turbo speed, but up to its highest clock and get up to 5.6 gigahertz. Now that is the limit when it comes to 3D V cache. Unfortunately, when you get a bit more V cache onto a X3D processor, they can only push it so much. But 4.3 would be the most that they could really do on it. 5.6 would be the furthest that you can push it, but if you overclock it, you could possibly get even up to 6 gigahertz. So I had to buy 16 gigabytes of RAM for $150. You bought a single module for $150. Honestly, that's not bad. I gotta say it's not bad because technically, if you're buying a kit, you're going to spend at least like over $370, $380. So buying 150, that's not bad. If you get 2 of them, that's $300. And especially if it's say like 6,000 gigahertz or something. I mean, not 6,000 megahertz. So although I like YouTube creators, the Starforge I would never buy. Yeah, that's crazy. Some of the pricing has me a bit confused. So it's funny because I remember Xenomorph also mentioned about the screwdriver that Linus has. So I went to go check it out. I went to go check out the screwdriver to see how much it was. It just popped up on my feed. I was like, let me see how much this screwdriver is. It's like $75. I was like, there's no way I'm going to spend $75 on a screwdriver. So I know that would be insane, right? If that happened. CL30 was the only one in stock. Hey, I mean, that's really good though. $150 USD is honestly good. Yes, absolutely. In fact, I'll show it to you guys right after this. But So it's if you notice that they pushed it up to 200 watts instead of 170 watts. So that's quite it's quite hot for a processor. So it does require a bit more power, and it does and for the Ryzen 7 9850 X3D, it hasn't really changed much when it comes to the wattage. Pretty much same cores. Now it's up to 96 megabytes of L3 cache, so it's not anything crazy for the 9850 X3D. More of the changeovers where it's going to be the X3D2. It's honestly a good. Oh, did you? Did you really? $75, but it's transparent. Yeah, it's transparent. That's exactly the one I was looking at. So I got the 7600X at Micro Center for $299 a while back. That one's stuck with $54 in store. That one correction, a CL36 version that came for, yeah. So if anyone's looking to build a PC, if anyone's looking to build a PC and you're just getting into it, take a look at Micro Center kits, and I'll show you why. Because you can actually get RAM for a decent deal if you choose to actually build a piece. Oh wow, now they got Pokemon cards. I did not expect to see that. Okay, so now you go under PC parts, and you go to say AMD bundles, and you can actually get a pretty decent kit. Like you could get a $500 kit for like AMD's Ryzen 7 7700X, and you can get actually up to 32 gigabytes, and you get a motherboard with it. So the lot screwdriver in the latest. Oh, really? Let's see. Let me take a look at this LTT one. So Rugal says, I am building an ITX build for a friend, and the cheapest 5060 Ti where I live is the MSI Cyclone one. But I'm worried about the single fan cooling because it's insufficient and loud. Should I go for one or pass? Now, it doesn't hurt going for it, Rugal. I'd say it. If you go for that Cyclone fan, honestly, it's not going to be that bad. If anything, he can obviously improve the cooling if he chooses to. He can improve the cooling by just adding better case flow. If you get better PC case flow, the less you have to worry about the fan. Or you can even have like a fan that's like kind of directly, like a second fan, directly close to where the Cyclone GPU is. They keep it cool. So as long as if it stays cool, it's less to worry about. So no Micro Center outside of US, sadly. They certainly need to expand. Yeah, everyone magically sells Pokemon cards. Now it's expensive as it can. Yeah, that's, it's the funny thing is I actually kept a lot of my Pokemon cards from Wizards of the Coast, and I actually sent them out to get graded and everything too. Now none of them are like perfect grades or nothing. I don't have like any PSA 10s, but I do have like I only got like one PSA 10, and then the rest are like PSA 9, PSA 8s, and 7s. But I just like keep them in a box, and I plan on probably letting them go like 15 years later or something. But they're all like the original stuff, like I have like from the original base packs and the jungle packs and all those cards, which is pretty wild. But AI is just a Pokemon named Armageddon. So I picked up a 5070 Ti for the secondary PC build for the MSRP of 750. So I lucked out and I set for my build. Thank God. Oh, awesome! That's good to hear. Uh, so all you need, $750, is honestly a great way to make a purchase for a PC. It's very hard to say that because this alone, this kit, $500 gets you the 7700X. You get the B650 and you get 32 gigabytes of DDR5. Then, of course, if you look at, let's go on lovely Newegg, see how they're doing today. Intel Ultra 5 225F, RTX 5060 PC build with the 16 gigabytes of RAM for $1,000 including the taxes. Now for something like that, for $1,000, and it's a full PC build, 16 gigabytes, RTX 50. It's I'd say I would say it's probably about average. If I wouldn't say it's a scam, How much storage does it have? Just out of curiosity, how much storage does it have? All right, so let's check their after Christmas sale that they have. See if they got anything good here. And of course, now they're still selling this. It's funny how they're trying to tell you that this is on sale. Their processor for $479 that you could take $10 off. How's this a sale though? Because it's $479, which is pretty much the same price it was when it first released, but you get $10 off. That's kind of a smack in the face. Newegg here has a 240 millimeter, which yeah, I could see that. I could see that waffle. 512 SSD. It seems a bit hefty, to be honest. It seems a bit pricey. Yeah, it seems a bit pricey. I feel that is certainly a bit pricey. I'd say for the most part, I gotta say that is certainly a bit pricey for that 225. Especially because, like, thinking of it, it's for a Gen 4. It doesn't sound like a very good deal. Doesn't sound like a very good deal. The 7950, yeah, that's it's making no sense. Funnily enough, ITX boards, motherboards with single RAM channels have existed for a good while. So there were people with high budget purposely going single channel before even. Yeah, that's true. It's like almost like the less lanes you end up taking up, the more quicker you can expect your board to be, because you don't have to expect it to be responsive. I've done a test where I've filled up all the lanes on the RAM just to see how it would react, and obviously it doesn't do as good when it comes to the gaming side when it comes to something like that. Did I ever hear of the KFA2 vendor? No, I have not. Sure. Which side of the server? Let me know, and I'll check it out on Discord. Let me go back here for you guys, and you take a look at this price, and again, let me open up another tab so that way we can just switch back and forth here. So that way I can show you guys. I'll take off the poll since it's been decided. Looks like Nvidia is the clear a winner. Nobody has went for AMD, surprisingly. I'm really shocked on that one. No one's went for AMD on that one. So take a look. $400. So this seems way more fairly priced. Again, $400 for the CPU, and they even give you the offer to bundle it with a motherboard. So I don't know what Newegg's thinking. They're selling it for much more than what it should be, like $79 more. That's just taking advantage there, and I know they're selling these. So can you battle station? Sure. Yes. You know, I was playing with a group of people actually just yesterday, because one of my friends wanted to play Pal World, because that way you wanted to play a game where you can actually build a base and everything together. So Pal World was one of those games where you could do that. So we're like, all right, we'll just play Pal World. It's not too bad. You missed my question. I'm just curious, how close are you on the first project? Pretty close. I'm really close. I'll definitely let the members know. I'll let Xenomorph, LSG, Waffle Skater, I'll definitely let you guys know. I'll share my insider information. And that way, you have a good indication on when it is going to come. So Chi, what's my PC specs? My PC specs are the one that I'm using for streaming is going to be the RTX 5080. The NVIDIA, the Asus Noctua card is in this one. It has the TRX 40, has the 3970X, up to 64 gigabytes of DDR4, and it's 3200 megahertz of CL18, and it's also 4 terabytes of Samsung's 980. Next storage is also 4 terabytes, and also I do have a 2 terabyte drive. It's a Western Digital one. And what else do I have? Let me see. It's the Deep Cool EX Castle Cooler. And it is also, let me see, the tough 501 PC case. That's the specs for that PC. A 1200 watt Be Quiet power supply is also installed on this. Rugal just showed up on my comment, just showed up in my chat, but I heard him read like, oh, really? That's crazy. DG Colebrand says, yes, yes, I am going to check it, guys. I'm just about to check out the server. No, no, I wish I was, G. I wish I was. All this is just straight investments. So let's go switch over to the Discord channel here. And Marina. Oh, this is the GPU. Okay. Awesome. All right, let's go down. What is the GPU 740 at OT 640? Also, this is my PC. Oh, that's awesome. There's a lot of people that's getting more and more interested on this, like doing like mini ITX builds such as this. And there's actually a lot of great deals on a lot of form factor parts there. Chris forgot to mention. Oh, yeah, that piece. That's a whole nother piece. You mispronounce. Yeah. Yes, exactly, Awful Skater. This is all tax write-offs. Forgot. So what was your reason for going 4 sticks of 16 gigs on the Threadripper? Yes, I wanted to go more. I honestly was going to get more. But the problem was I was unable to obtain it. I wanted to actually expand this year, and unfortunately, of course, the pricing have went up. 64 gigabytes was good at the time when I built it, which is back in 2020 when I first built this PC. And now I was actually thinking of going to upgrade and change it over to a newer like Shimada's Peak Threadrippers, which is like the 90, what is it, the 97 probably 70, I think it is. It was that one I was, oh no, 9970X was the one I was thinking of to actually change it over to. But yes, I would expand it if I could, but yes, exactly, LSG. John Smith, what's up? Simply Takuba is the richest. Yes, he certainly is. He just bought a whole train set. So the bottom post message. Then you sneezed and RAM prices skyrocketed. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. It's the worst. It is an upgraded HP Pro desk. Oh, really? That's right. You know, I've always wanted to do like one of those like sleeper builds where you're gonna just like because we were talking about this just like I think last week, where you just build a PC where it looks like it's just a 95 PC, like from the 90s. And then you put all the newest PC parts in there. The biggest thing to care about, though, is the airflow. I don't like ITX. In fact, I don't believe in ITX. But my friend has a small apartment with a singular table, so he uses it for everything. So I gotta ask, what does everybody think about the cases where it's in the table, like doing a whole PC build inside of the table, where it has like the pretty much the table that covers the PC components. The biggest part is getting the airflow right and having it flow in the right direction, because you want to make sure it still breathes encased in that table. But what does everybody think of something like that? Those are always interesting, I feel. I want the FLP02, but 250. Yes. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Let me switch over here. Let's see. Let's go back to Newegg. Let's hope they got some better deals going on. I see Newegg is a hit or miss. Like they either have deals or they just completely tear you a brand new one. So I would be worried if I'd F it up, but it'd be cheaper. I would love to do one, but not like for 2K. Yeah, like those tables are quite expensive, like the ones that they have. A nuclear time bomb under the table. Yeah, yeah. Especially if that heat, like, if you have no way to dissipate the heat on that table, it certainly will not feel nice. I would imagine it would be quite terrible. I'm building a desk. Oh, really? Oh, that would be pretty dope. It would make sense though in Japan because you need the room, especially because you have limited space. Are you? And I think and cheese in Taiwan. If Taiwan's the same way, like you can use the extra space if that's the case. I bought laptop Sodium 32 gigabyte DDR4, 3200 RAM for $100 used on eBay to upgrade my aging HP Omen 16 gigabytes laptop. Also, Chris, last week you said you, yes, yes, I should put that in the poll and see if anyone can guess that. All right, I'll throw that up on the poll. That's funny. That is funny. You certainly did remember. Let's see. Let's see. I'll throw that in the poll, guys. Let's see. Good. And you ready? So I'm going to put these numbers. I'll give it, let's see. And you guys can take a pick and take a guess of my age. There we go. You ready? The poll is coming up. And let's see if anyone can guess this correctly. There you go. Awesome. ITX builds are the worst temps, like when it comes to, and that's a problem when it comes to ITX builds or is something like that. So in order to do the vote, in order for you guys to hit the poll, you don't just simply touch it or click it. You just have to type it in. You just type in 1, 2, 3, or 4. There you go. Perfect. All right, so take a free app file in Discord. Do not. Who's sending files in Discord? Free apps. This is a link to free premium APK for Kim Master. So make sure to check it. Awesome. Awesome. There we go. Let's see. So there's some new monitors that are also coming out. I do want to share this with you guys. A lot of the new technology when it comes to OLEDs is going to be like RGB strips compared to its typical technology. Now we'll go to Tech Power Up for this because I also mentioned a lot of them. Let's see. It's funny, we were just talking about gaming desktops and they're talking about the Omen 16L. There we go. And here's the latest news for everybody who's looking for that whole RAM issue or the RAM shortage. It seems that now it's getting to the point where it says bring your own RAM. Now they also mentioned pretty much the same thing that I mentioned for the last several weeks about smartphones are backing down to actually 8 gigabytes of RAM now instead of 4. And laptops are doing the same thing. So it's a wide industry issue there. What's up, Radiated Titan? I've been great. Hopefully you had an awesome Christmas. Let's see if 2004 to 2006 was when Lil Chris asked for them. 5K monitors coming. Definitely in your 30s because of what you said your first. There you go. 32%. 32 is 100%. Huh. Okay. This will be interesting. All right. So I will end the poll in like 2 more minutes. And then I will announce my age. So, unfortunately, with the whole RAM situation, it seems that according to insiders, as always, HP and Lenovo had signed agreements to secure the RAM. Of course, Microsoft has failed to do so. So now they're pretty pissed, especially for all. Chris would be great. Yeah, right. It's funny too because the whole situation with this whole price hike, like when it comes to the RAM side about bringing your own RAM, so now they're pretty pissed about not making their Surfaces anymore Can you imagine that? Like Microsoft's pretty like who's actually went out and took a look at the Surface, like at one of their how they really tried to push that out. Their tablet laptop hybrid. Now they can't even secure RAM for that. But anyway, let's see. Downsizing the premium laptop segment, whether the plays out as predicted, would be likely revealed fairly soon at CES 2026 as its expected product launches. So we already have an idea there. And where is it? This is something I really want to show with you guys too. Also, he could be late 30s because he said early 2000s. He had like his first PC, so if that's true, that he's just like me because I got my first PC in 2005 and just turned 40, but he looks 32. Okay, so I will. What's up, Lil? Welcome in. So, all right, so I'm about to announce the age. So we have 32 for most of the poll, and here we go. I was born in 1988. So that makes me 37. So I am 37 years old, believe it or not. That's how old I am. Just Googled AI your age. It said you're more likely late 30. Oh, really? Yeah. Ain't that crazy? Plot twist. The age wasn't in the poll. Yeah, honestly, I'm like I'm more like I'm 2000 years old. Yeah, believe it or not, that's how old I am. So, when I first built my PC was in like what Prince said, like around like 2004. That was like my first PC build. And at the time I was only like 13 or 14 years old, I remember. Let's see. Yeah, so I was that's when I first did the PC build, but of course originally got into it even before the PC build and just messed with the family's computer then and wanted to upgrade the GPU. So I ended up getting my pops to buy the Nvidia GPU when I was in middle school and said I needed it for school. Yeah, no, not at all. Not that far off. Chris was a consideration when Windows was. So, have you played the game which is in my YouTube upload 18 years ago? I got to take a look. I'll definitely take a look, G. Let me see. I'll make sure to take a look at it. Let's see. I'll definitely look for you. Just make sure to join the Discord. I'll definitely check it out. Okay, so I'm older than him by like 4 hours, so he's like 19. Yes. So, yes, where's that monitor? This is quite exciting. They're also coming out with 5K monitors. Finally, that's something I've been dying for, especially when it comes to ultra wides. This deep cool CPU cooler. Why? What's happening? What's going on with it? I do not understand what 5. So this is a great question, and that's why this is actually what I was just about to bring up. Reason why this is a great thing. I'll explain exactly why this is great. And the reason why this is so great here, let me see. Let me fix that real quick. The reason why that's so great, it's for the ultra wides. A lot of ultra wides are only at 1440. So you typically get a resolution of say 3440 by you get 3440 by 1440. Now that resolution where it's 5K, 2K, that technically brings your resolution up to that's up to par with 4K. Technically, it's 5K. And for the max resolution that you can get on ultra wide is technically about 3.5K, a little less than 3.5K. So at least you'll be above that 4K mark, and you can also
subscribe to the channel.
Thank you for subscribing. Yes, and that will push your monitor up into that full resolution, especially for those who like to do things like editing in 4K. You can take advantage of ultra wide and also be able to enjoy 5K gaming, so to say. So I saw 6K somewhere. Oh, really? That would be pretty awesome if they did. So LG is coming out with this, which is their ultra wide Evo line. So for example, a monitor like this would typically be about 1440, and that's because it's usually because it's running at a 3.5 resolution, 3.5K resolution. But with the newer technology, now it can be pushed up to 5120 by 2160. So the pixel density is much more smaller, and you can certainly take advantage of it for gaming purposes and also for those who like to use their PC for production usage. So, oh wow, the fastest 5K was Dell's 120 hertz IPS 5K one before. Yes, and this is like actually one that anyone should certainly think about like upgrading to if you're into ultra wides. It tempts me even to upgrade to LGs because the only difference though, the one thing that I want to make sure if this is the case is that it is 100% OLED, which it is, and this is tandem OLED, so it's highly responsive because of the new RGB tandem OLED where everything is practically RGB strips. That's like more of the new thing. I know some people, I think we talked about it a bit earlier in the week, where Tandem OLED 2.0, some people are waiting for before actually purchasing it, because always a second iteration is going to be better than the original. But take a look at the different form factors. Now you have the 39 inch, which is going to be satisfy most people. 39 inches is perfect for me, I feel. But they even have up to 52 inches. So can you imagine having a 52 inch 5K OLED TV? So for 24 inches, only 1080p is available. Really? That's it? Yeah, I think it's supposed to be one of those dual modes where it's the second mode is 2K and not the typical 1080. Awesome. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's what kind of hurts 1440 monitors, especially for us ultra wide lovers out there. So I, oh yeah, yeah. Oh really? You know what's funny? I always thought you were more like in the late 20s. Slim, what's up? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody who's coming in, who is just coming in. Amir says we are getting a clone Resident Evil. Oh really? Close. Yes, I am hyped for Resident Evil 9. Hopefully we get a little gist of it at CES. I remember last time they had the remake there of this was several years back. They had the remake of Last of Us at the show, and when I was taking a look at it, Sony was very strict, saying you're not allowed to stream, you're not allowed to take photos of it, or you're not allowed to make videos of the game. But they had a playable demo where you can play it at CES. So they were very strict about being under embargo. It existed, but they just refused to mention it. And that kind of gives me a throwback. I kind of really wish that I know you older guys will certainly know what I'm talking about too. If E3 would just make a return, it would be awesome. I would love to go to E3. That was always a dream of mine. But now E3 I feel like is never coming back. So I feel like the stand needs to be two parts and not one leg in the middle. Just that one giant monitor just asking to tip over. You know, they're probably going to have a mount for it. They'll probably have a mount in the back where it kind of hooks up like a cable to prevent it from falling. And they actually usually recommend those cables like when you install like any type of TV. Now, more than likely what I would do is I'm going to put it on a bracket anyway. I'm going to put it on an arm and bracket because I don't like it to take up space. But I see what you mean. It can be very easy to tip, especially if it's top heavy. But I would assume the metal base has to have some decent weight to it. It would be nice if they did share exactly how much it is. It even offers up to HDR. You can take advantage of it, and they do have the mini LED back kit. So this would certainly be something to look at. We'll definitely keep an eye out for LG out on the floor at CES. Now, CES is only a week away, guys. A little bit over a week away. So make sure to tune into the channel and subscribe for it. Get ready because it's going to be amazing. So you think if I swap the cooler's CPU cooler for a stock one, it would be much of a temperature difference? Yes, absolutely. It will be 100% a difference. If you change to a stock cooler over an aftermarket one, yes. AI monitor, yes. LSG, You know what LSG said to me the other day? He said that you should take a shot for every time somebody mentions it AI. And I was just telling him, like, I won't even make it through the event for an hour because everything, you're going to see AI literally everywhere through that event. They will post it up everywhere. Um, feel free. Chi. So he says, are you a full-time content creator or as a hobby? It's more, I would say, I feel well, the whole content creation part for me is more of a part-time job, I would say. It's more part-time than actual being a full-time content creator. But it feels like full-time. It certainly feels like full-time, but it's definitely more part-time than anything. So, you know, you can feel free to ask. Steam Frame will be the next big purchase. Really excited about it. Absolutely. Just put a tally mark for every time you would have to. Yeah, I know, right? I would have to put it up on the stream. Somehow I would have to get like an overlay and then like put a strike. But can you imagine like how that would be like getting through the show? And and the showroom floor is just massive too, because it's not just one place. The way it is, it's like through multiple hotels. It's through many hotels, and then you go into the convention center, and then on top of the convention center, they have a whole backing of it. I'm buying the Morza R3 PC bundle. Awesome. Do you have a son or daughter, or is it in the plans? If so, what age will they put together? I would make if that happens as soon as I could. the the first thing that they'll be holding is probably like a I'll try to teach them as soon as they come out the womb, so that way they will have advanced knowledge. But I would. It's been a while since Wasabi's been very busy. I gotta say, I know Wasabi's been very busy with his move and everything. So unfortunately, we won't see him for a little bit longer. He's been doing a lot of moving. So, what do you do as a professional? Since you do so, for in my professional career, I work for the government. So that's what I do in the professional career, and YouTube again is more of the part-time side. Uh, there we go. Just more breaking news. Of course, we also mentioned this. I don't know why they said it was stagnant. Even here, they mentioned it on Tech Power Up. Framework announces another DRAM price hike. Memory costs $10 per gigabyte capacity. There you go. That's why it was up like another $25, $30 when we were looking. So, John, you're gonna hate this. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. That instead of building blocks, they're gonna learn how to wire manage. They're gonna have to learn the wire manage PCs. I'm telling you, he is building a whole custom by hand. He's out there cutting the wood. He's cutting the oak wood for the case. Well, pack it up, boys. Time to leave the government. Yes. It's funny because I always think about like I hope that they're not always fully listening. So it's in the plans for it now to, well, yeah, it's one of those things where it's more if it happens, it happens. So serving for freedom. Yes, exactly. That's what I for freedom. So now here goes a decent keyboard actually. This one looks a bit interesting, I gotta say. The retro keyboard looks nice. This would be dope to put together on those retro builds that we were talking about. Like in one of those cases where it's a sleeper build, nobody would expect this. Especially if you get like that classic color, that kind of like off-white color. I think that would go really well with any type of sleeper build right there. And one thing I am looking forward to, I got to check if they're on the floor too at CES, is Sapphire, because I'm curious about their motherboard, which is an X870E that they are officially releasing. The pictures aren't that great. They kind of look jaggy. I mean, it wouldn't be easy having a full-time job streaming and teaching your, yes. No, that would certainly not be easy. It would be pretty much, it would take up probably a ton of time. And as everybody knows, uh as you get older, it seems like the time just goes by quicker. Like there isn't enough time in the day to do everything that you need to do. Really, I know. That's what it looks like, right? It looks real jagged. You can tell. And then when you get here, I'm excited for the Sapphire GPU because this is like one of those BTF edition ones, like where you don't have to use a cable to hook up. Obviously, the one that they originally had before, it would hide behind under the shroud right here, and under that shroud for that GPU there would have the cables, but because it's BTF, it would just have that extra extension to hook up to that Sapphire board. But it would be nicer. I think Takuma actually even pulled up a way better picture than this. This is kind of rough. um, yeah, that keyboard definitely will tell you hello. I mean, my dad was 40, so my mom was 41 when they had me. So I guess yes. It's no. Yes, exactly. The screen printer was running low in ink. That's what. Yeah, I know. That looks really odd, right? It looks like it was supposed to. You know what it looks like? The photo looks like it was supposed to be high resolution, but it didn't turn out to be high resolution. Like this looks way better. Oh, they. Okay, it's funny because we see that they took that out of video cards. Actually, let's go check out the. I think Takuma sent it on the members chat or under PC hardware. Let me double check. And then we'll pull it through there. There's a much more clearer picture of it. And let me see. It is up here. Yep, this is a much better photo, guys. Thanks to Takuma for sending this. But it looks just like here. The Sapphire, this is much more better because it's not rendered in AI. I kind of like this motherboard, but it's kind of like an MSI ripoff. One of those, yeah, it kind of gives you that look. But I'm really curious. I hear the most negative thing people do have to say about this motherboard is that the BIOS isn't so great. Now, if you look, take a closer look when you look at the GPU lane here. You see that, guys? Like if you see that GPU lane, you look right next to it, and it has the power to power up your GPU, which is going to be the Sapphire 9070 XT, which is here. You see the extra connection here for it, guys, right there on the end right here. So that's what will go in there. So that has to be plugged in order to get the 12-volt high power port. Now, if you look up here, this is the scary part for some people. I'm really curious to see how it's going to stand for the test of times. Is this right here? You see that? It has the 12-volt high power port up here, right under the ATX port. So I wonder how that's going to be. So imagine plugging in the 12-volt high power port into it. So you're not going to, you do in a way, because you have to, the way they designed this board is you got to plug it right under the ATX cable. Like your typical motherboard ATX cable, if you look right under there, let me adjust it a bit so you guys can see it better. Hopefully you guys see it over on the mobile side. I think you guys probably have a very clear view of it. But if you look right there, that's where you're going to plug in your 12-volt high power ports. And then from here is where you would connect the GPU, where it will regain the power from the motherboard. Yeah, by the way, I'm pretty sure Lisa wouldn't be a fan of 2026 CES. Yeah. Yes, I think so too. I think Lisa's going to be pretty pissed hearing all those everything that is going on during CES. It's so crazy. I got to share some stuff with you guys, which is pretty funny. Like I got some emails from CES which are quite interesting, like for example, actors, right? Your typical movie actors you hear from your movies. They say there was one email that I received from CES where it said that why hire actors or actresses anymore? Why not just hire us? And what they meant by us was it was like a group of like I guess of AI. So instead they're like, why pay these expensive actors, actresses? Because you have to pay for their meals, you have to pay for flights and travel, where you can hire AI to practically do the acting in the movie for them. So you can just have an AI model just do the movies for the actors and actresses. So that's how much they're really trying to push it. Because at CES, not only do you get just like us creators out there, news outlets, you even have producers that go out there to see the newest tech. And this is what they're trying to sell them is like, hey, why do you need actors and actresses? You could have AI do it. So that's the crazy part. So so let me see. I want this motherboard. What Dream says Sapphire Nitro RX 9070 XT. Is the server new? It's pretty new. I'd say I created it about a year ago. Yeah, like it's been about a year because I created it in December of 2025. So you can just ask ChatGPT about anything on CES. Yeah, probably. I wouldn't be surprised. It probably would come up. So if you're trying to get into the Discord, you just hit the exclamation point and put Discord. You put that command, and that will show the Discord link. Whether you're on Twitch or on YouTube, that will show the link for Discord. So, but yeah, this is the GPU here. I know how I just really am curious about how well it's going to handle on there. I wonder how well it's going to last. So they have two models. This is the B850A model. I'm happy with the X870E Carbon, even though it has no backplate. Honestly, the Carbon is one of those, is a wonderful motherboard. It really is a great motherboard for anybody who is thinking of doing a PC build. So let me move that up. Oh, let me see. There we go. Let me move it kind of out the way. That's probably better right there. But yeah. So if you are looking for something like that, I would highly suggest it. I just noticed that too. That's funny. Let me put the chat. Somehow I hid the chat on the vertical side. Let's see. Discord. Let me throw that back up there, guys. Apologize for that. So those who are viewing vertically can see what we're talking about here. Somehow it went missing. All right, so let me shrink that. There you go, guys. Apologize on the vertical side if you guys got lost in the sauce. So I'll throw that up there so you guys can see quite a bit better. There, perfect. There we go. Now we're good. So, it's not an expensive motherboard. No, that's the good thing about Sapphire. It's not that expensive of a motherboard. In fact, we can actually look it up right now. I think it's available up on the market. I'm just curious to see if they are going to be at Sapphire. Would the 5050 be worth snagging at 106? No. I feel like that 5050 is honestly junk. It's because it's going to still be based on G6 regardless. So it's not going to be on a newer memory bandwidth, and it's technically, you might as well go like back 40 series or 30 series because it's going to be at that point, like if you go 5050. So if anybody's thinking of going that cheap on a GPU, you don't want to go that direction. So we're going to switch back over to the browser here, and we're going to go onto Sapphire's website, which is, I'm not sure, but we'll find it. X870E, let's see. I'm sure they got a website. I remember they do. It's probably not out yet. Okay, let's go back here. And let's see. Where is it? Oh, here's a really nice photo of it. This is much better. Here's a really nice photo of it, guys. So it has that goldish metal look to it. The backplate's really nice. Yes, I agree. MSI motherboard. So if we're talking about reliability when it comes to motherboards, I'd say like the top reliable motherboard manufacturers you can always rely on is going to be ASUS, Gigabyte, and MSI. Those are like the top 3 tier. Like those are the ones that are like the standard when it comes to motherboards. They are the standard. Now, when it comes to like everybody else, I feel like they kind of fall behind, including Ace Rock. I was trying to push Ace Rock up on the top tier. I was hoping they would get there, but unfortunately, with all the mishaps that they have had with the 9800 X3D, with the burning processors, unfortunately, I can't put them on that top tier list yet. Of course, Sapphire, they certainly would have to work their way up there. There are these newer manufacturers that are coming out just like them. And then you also have Colorful. That's also another one that is also trying to build motherboards as well. But it's hard to put them on a tier because we have to see through the test of time. Because ASUS, Gigabytes, and MSI, they've been around for quite a long time. They've been around for ages. So if you're looking for top reliability, it would definitely be those top three. No matter the choice, there isn't a wrong choice because all three of those manufacturers have either the lowest, most budget motherboard to the highest, most top tier grade motherboard. So, I mean, I'd recommend joining Discord if you have any questions. You won't have to wait until. Yes, that is true, Xenomorph. If you have any questions about it, definitely. No, it's no. Thank you for coming in, Frozen. Yeah, we're just talking about the motherboards. We were looking at the Sapphire Nitro Plus. Would love to see how well it would do through the test of time. I'm really curious to see how this is going to work out, especially that 12-volt high power port being on the motherboard. I'm really curious to see if that's going to end up like burning out, if that's the case. But on the RAM side, if you would need an update, Frozen, it's gotten worse. Unfortunately, it's not gotten better. It's gotten worse, to be honest. It's gone up like at least another $20, $25 on the RAM end. Same thing with SSDs. In fact, like we could take a look at an SSD now. We're going to take a look at, say, Samsung's 9100. And Nesto, what's going on? Yes. Unfortunately, it is the case. We're going to look at the standard 2TB one because this is what most people end up going for anyway. Oh, wow. It's gone up significantly, actually. This is, you know what? This is third party. It's got to be. That's got to be. We're going to go sold by Newegg. Okay, here we go. Okay, so actually it fluctuated. It went from, oh, it's out of stock. All right, let's try Micro Center. It's $300. Originally we saw it as high as, I think it was 200 and what was it? 280 was it? Or it actually went up significantly. Actually, $300 is their original price. Actually, we last checked it. I think it was at 280. I think right, 250. No, it was at 250, and now it jumped up another $50. Do you work out? Yes, I work out every day. Gee. That is it's funny. I always talk about that. It's very important. In order to keep your health, guys, definitely just go to the gym. It's worth it. 254 on Micro Center. Yeah, that's what I thought. So let's go on Micro Center. Newegg is a monster, man. I'm supposed to, you know what's funny? I got a meeting with them at CES coming up during, in a couple weeks. So I'm just going to be like, why are you guys charging so much? It's like Micro Center is going to tear you down, especially if they start selling online. they're just like crashing. I don't know what the deal is. Like everything's so expensive on there now. Yeah, exactly. 250. So, yeah, 254. There you go. Much more fair price. So, if we look at Amazon, it should be, let's see if Amazon's a bit fair when it comes to pricing. Is DRAM all that important in SSDs? It depends on what kind of SSD you got or you have. Now, when it comes to the SSD, they do have ones that are DRAMless. Those ones, it doesn't matter as much. But for the ones that you typically like the 9100, unfortunately, they do have some sort of DRAM. Fortunately, it is important because it's practically just like how it is when it comes to like on a PC practically, but on a way tinier scale. unfortunately. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at Samsung's 9100 here and see if they have a decent price. 2 TB. And same price, 250, 255. But this is probably Micro Center on Amazon because they also have a store on Amazon as well. So it looks like for them, it looks like for the 9100s that it is sold from Amazon. That's one of the first things you want to check for when you do purchase off of a website like Amazon here. You want to check that it is sold by Amazon. It'll ship within 1 to 2 days, which isn't bad. 254. So it's pretty much they just slightly beat Micro Center's deal. Slightly. I mean, just by a few cents. So it's not that much of a deal that they beat them by. So unfortunately, Newegg is definitely behind on the pricing side. Let's take a look at the 4 TB, $470, right? Now we take a look at Amazon's. It's going to be around that price range, $468. So it's a little bit cheaper on Amazon if you're to get this. And now you look on Newegg, which we're going to open up Newegg now. Again, when it comes to the pricing, unfortunately, it's gone up quite dramatically. And I have a feeling it's going to be way more pricier than they're selling it for. That's funny. They're willing to sell you Sabrent's PCI Express 4 Rocket 4 Plus. They're willing to sell you that for $460. But you can't buy the 9100 for their price. Fortunately, they're selling it for $500. What are they doing? How are they going to... Okay. Again, that's a third-party seller. They're probably sold out. Okay, sold by Newegg. Okay, so this is with the heatsink. And they don't even have it. Okay, so they have it with the heatsink for $485. Not bad. They originally had it, but let's see how much it is. $470. Okay, so that's a bit more fair. $470, $468, and $470. Of course, you could always consider Temu. Absolutely. I think I have the cheapest RAM for sale. I sell and have Hynix and Samsung DDR4 RAM for 10 quid per 8 gig. Yeah, you can buy it right off of them off of Discord. If you're in need of RAM, a Squeeze will be the guy. Just go to the buy and sell, and he even sells overclocked PSUs. So unfortunately, when it comes to the SSD side, it's gone up dramatically. Same thing when it comes to RAM. That has not settled quite a bit. Again, DDR5, CL36, guys. CL36. This is a bit more higher latency than most people do purchase the RAM when it comes to gaming. Free RAM. Yes. Yeah, Chi. Oh, free RAM in the van. Finally finished my delivery on the American truck. Awesome. Funny how you say quit every time now. Since yes. Yeah, it's funny, right? The only thing I got to get used to is this. I got to get used to their symbols. Like I got to realize quid and euro. And I'm starting to really differentiate it a bit more since I've seen it. I'm out of stock on PSUs. Oh no. Zay, what's going on? It's Great British Pounds. Yeah. You know what's funny? I was told, now Squeeze, now you let me know, in your opinion, from what I've heard, or anybody that is from the Great Britain, is it either quid? Is it quid or is it pounds? I should throw that on a poll, right, guys? The only thing is that most people won't get it if I throw that in. British pounds, euros, and Swiss franc. Interesting. The one thing I know I got down packed is euros. I just say pounds. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, now when it comes to the RAM side, this has gone up significantly, unfortunately. This is a CL36 kit. It's a 6,000 megahertz and for $417. Now, when you click here, now let's take a look at the same RAM kit, We're going to look on Newegg. Okay, 1K here is a grand. Oh, that's not too different. We could call it a grand. Yeah, like we have so many different names for it. A grand, a stack, or old people say quid. So, oh really? It's funny. You know who brought it up to me, guys? Alex, in fact, said that they call it quid, and he's definitely one of the youngest here for sure. uh, so they have it for 410. Okay, so same value as Micro Center. So now you can get a combo savings if you choose to put it together and with a Corsair keyboard. So you can actually pick it up with a, let's take a look. It's funny how they do this. So this is Corsair's doing for sure. Definitely Corsair's. Has to be their idea. What people think how old I am. I have no idea. If you can feel free to ask for sure. Yeah, take a look, Squeeze. It was a bit earlier. I threw a poll up. If you scroll up in the chat, you'll definitely see it. Meanwhile, in the USA, dough, bread, lettuce, spoons. Yeah, there's so many. What's up, Dark Style? What's going on? Okay, so this one is the K70 Max. Okay, so that's what it comes with. K70 Max, if you... It's funny how they try to entice you, but it's $540. That's a lot. That's still a lot of money. $540 with the RAM and this keyboard. And most importantly, guys, if you get it from Newegg, you get McAfee's Total Protection. So if you need the complete protection from McAfee, it does come with it. It's an additional free gift for $540. Ramageddon continues. Absolutely. Unfortunately, it just seems like it is never ending. Yeah, isn't that's your keyboard? What's my favorite game of all time? That's hard to say. That is a tough call because I love. I'd say like one of my top favorite games, believe it or not, is like I love Ninja Gaiden. I've always loved that series. Like the whole Ninja Gaiden series, I'm a fan of that. That's probably one of, but if it's more like story based, I'm guessing more story based with more details. I love Cyberpunk 2077. I think that's an awesome game. I love it. What else is good? I'd say like story wise, I'd say Cyberpunk. Like gameplay wise, I really like Ninja Gaiden. No AIO, no deal. Sorry. Pre-bill. Oh, that's so funny. When it comes to no AIO, no deal. Sorry. We give you free. I forgot to say you are 5 years younger than. Yes. You can buy toys. Favorite game of all time. My first game is The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. That's a good one. You can't ignore his trying to get that emote into my frequently. You know, I gotta get some emotes made, guys. Definitely for I will work on that for you guys. I will definitely get some emojis made. It would just fit, especially in our wonderful fan band. G-Skill Tridents 30, born on 95. It's crazy how quick time goes by. Just updated my NVIDIA driver. Have you ever used the NVIDIA AI or L? No, I haven't touched it. I've seen it, but I haven't touched it. Have you messed with it, Dark? I gotta ask. NVIDIA GPT. You have me intrigued. But again, there's going to be a lot of people out there, especially Lisu will say, just stop using AI. The funny thing is, it's the truth in the matter is, people are always going to end up using AI. The problem is really the whole manufacturing side. We put a poll up just last week of how many people are willing to stop using AI in order for RAM to come back to normal pricing. And the results were quite astonishing. In fact, that most people said that they would still rather use AI than having cheaper prices, because that's how how most people deem AI is a very useful tool. So now it seems that we've gotten to a point to where it's hard to. It's one of those things where it needs to be a norm to everyone's normal life is having AI as part of their task. So I'm gonna have to ask one more. Okay, yeah, sure, Xenomorph, you can ask in the members chat. I was curious. I found a 96 gigabytes DDR5. Oh, really? That's actually pretty good. That's a VIP stream. There you go. Yes, the member stream. Yeah, you can certainly ask it there. Which will be starting up soon. In fact, I'd wait. I'd wait. I don't use it. Give me back my electric bill back. Yeah, it's insane, right? I gotta share that with you guys too. Like if I'm going to share like how astonishing how much AI takes up on energy. Let's see. Here we go. This is quite interesting. Let's see. I'm trying to pull the numbers for you guys. So this is how much of an impact. And there's like a whole large article on it. There was a fun fact that Dell Optiplex with the oh yeah, oh yeah, really. So let's go back here real quick, guys, and I will show you exactly what I was talking about. So it says first came to prediction skyrocketing electricity consumptions from data centers. Now it's starting to materialize. Now it says 2% through the first 9 months of 2025 from at the same time last year. That's a 3% increase. And they're saying it's a flat for much of the last 2 decades. And let me see. Let me just skip to the whole AI side. Data center hotspots. Here we go. As the U.S. shipped more natural gas abroad this year, hot summers, cold winters pushed up for demand. So that's 13%, about 64 terawatts an hour. Solar production. Where's the whole AI side? Here we go. Data center development remains a largely regional story. Just 10 states accounted for 85% U.S. Now 23 kilowatts an hour. 8 of these are hotspot centers for terawatts. I mean, of data center constructions. Let's see. This isn't it. I'll find it, guys. This is just a lot of BS talk. I'll definitely find it, guys. I didn't like that AI hype train goes off the rock. I was worried when AMD did the first step, and then now they're all of a sudden like jumping into what temperatures. So for me personally, I keep my temperature at my house like around 75. Typically, it'll be like 75 degrees. Let's see. AI models. Where is it? It's funny. I should have saved that article, or maybe I can find it. Let me try to look it up and see if I can find it. It's funny how most of these corporations don't give a damn about the future of humanity. AI is just money for them. AI, they don't care about the outcome. I could never be this greedy. It's I gotta say, it's definitely quite interesting. I gotta say, for the most part, like when it comes to, it's almost like you can't have both things. So, but of course, what always wins is always going to be the money. Always does. All right, so let me see. Let me see if I can find it. And energy. There we go. Here's a perfect one. This is what I want to share with you guys. So this is what it looks like here. I'm 70, but that's really just to keep the pipes from freezing. Oh, yeah. My room is warmed to my 13700K. For me, it's 75 for good reasons. Is it possible to use data center GPUs after 5 years and then it all depends on how badly beat they are. That really depends. But they'll definitely have some wear to it. But this is what it is, guys. This is what I wanted to share with you guys. So as you see, Oh, I'm trying to move it here on the browsing side, but give me a second, guys. Let me fix this for you guys so you can see it. It's funny. I keep trying to. There we go. There we go. Now I got it. Perfect. So the sad thing is, winning isn't even about the money. It's the promise, even more of the money later on. Absolutely. So this is the big AI's dirty secret. It seems that Google uses the most. Ironically, they're the ones that were fighting for RAM. Remember, guys? Microsoft also the ones that are fighting for more of the RAM. So it takes up their average consumption is about 2.3 million per house. And then when it comes to Microsoft, 2.2 million households. That's how much. So think even you compare it, just think about that. That's quite insane. That's like a whole city practically for some people. So it's no annoying me that Apple is behind Meta on the list while using more. The bad thing about living in Birmingham, UK, is the fact nobody here knows anything about PCs. There's barely, yeah, that's pretty wild. In fact, that they don't know. More Woodard just noticed the left. So it's Microsoft's annual electricity could use power up to 48 Disneylands and Paris parks for an entire year. So how much energy is being used? So take a look at these numbers here. The crazy part is on this list, I'm surprised even OpenAI is not on the list even. But that just shows you how much usage it takes. 24 millions. That's crazy. Apple was behind the train on the, yeah, they were, but look at like what happened to them now. And that's the wild part, guys. So Google could annual energy could brew over 1 trillion espresso cups. That's insane. And then its annual water consumption can fill up to 9,000 Boeing 747-400 jets. So that just shows you how much energy is being used up when it does come to AI. Apple RAM prices are fine. I know that they finally are, right? The thing that throws me off about Apple still is the SSD prices. The SSD prices are just horrific. It makes no sense. In fact, let's go take a look at Apple's. Let's go shopping for Apple's MacBook. Just say right, and you take a look for their MacBook Pro. ASUS, unfortunately, it doesn't seem that's gonna happen. Squeeze. It doesn't seem that ASUS is going to make the RAM as we all thought originally. So let me go back up here, go to buy. Okay, so let's say we go 16-inch M4 Max. We're going to get the high spec'd out one, 16-core CPU, the 40-core GPU. We'll select that one. It's 4,000. So it went up in price actually a little bit. It's actually gone up a little bit in price. It's now $4,000. And that's just 48 gigabytes. Now, if you push it for the nano texture display, I'll just leave that alone. In fact, let's just leave that alone. We'll change it to 64 gigabytes of RAM. So the RAM still remains the same for the most part. And then we go down here. They're not a grab. Well, iPhone prices, yes, they certainly will go up. Yes, they are going to go up. I remember NVIDIA's RAM. After CES, all prices will jump this year. I feel like that too. It certainly will. It's going to be, I just really hope it's not, this whole CES show will not be as disappointing for sure. I need nuclear reaction to generate. Back to the future quote. It's pretty well, gigawatts. Like Apple needs an excuse to raise prices. This is a good reason. This is the perfect reason. This is what makes no sense when it comes to it. How's it $400 more if you throw in 1 extra terabyte? $400 more. And then if you ask for 4 terabytes, it's you think, oh, I spent $400, right? You spent $400 on an extra terabyte, so why not just spend for 4 terabytes because it's only another 200. And you see that price there? Right there on the bottom, guys? That's how much it is. It is it's $5,200 for the laptop now. $5,200. Yes. Yes, it will. Krauser, make sure you're tuned. I'm sure you're tuned into the channel. Again, we will be. Excuse me, guys. See what I got. We'll be live at CES on Monday. Well, not Monday. Sunday. We'll start our flight out there. Not this upcoming Sunday, but next Sunday. We will be headed to CES. We will be going live. And we will be there from January 4th to the 9th. So we'll be there for the whole week. 20 bucks for a terabyte. Nanotexture is too dim for me. Nanotexture is definitely overrated for sure. I gotta say, it's definitely overrated. I'd rather buy used Apple computer. Apple autocorrects is crazy on desktop. Yeah, I'm assuming you can't add storage. No, unfortunately, you can't. The reason being, there is a reason. If you take a look, so my time zone here is Eastern time. So just to let you guys know, I will let you know a bit more with the whole details, because I'll also be going live at the airport while I'm there. If I get there early enough, I'll definitely do a live there. But for sure, once I land, I will definitely go live because I gotta go to the hotel and stuff. But this will, I know it might as well be called AI Fest, right? Oh man, I hope the CES won't be during the nights for me. No, well, since I'm there, just to let you guys know, I'll be on West Coast time. So it's going to be a 3-hour difference instead. So it'll be a bit better for you guys. Eastern time here. Okay. I will let you know the Eastern time that I'm going on when I go to my flight. And once I land there, I'm going to have to change everything to West Coast time. So everything's going to be in PST, Pacific time, once I get there. West Coast, you... Absolutely. So, yeah, the whole nanotexture, I don't personally like it. Honestly, like when I compared the two, like the M3, the Max and the M4 Max, like when I had both of them, I feel like the M3 Max personally to me was a bit better. It's going to be, I'll be there going on January 4th. Back in the day, I used to attend CES and WCES. Oh, really? That's awesome. For me, I think this would be the 3rd year I'm going. It would be the 3rd year I'm at CES. But does the time zone change on its own? Yes. Like the phones and everything will. But of course, when I send out when I let you guys know, I will definitely send it out via my usual post. I'll change it over to PST, so that way everyone can follow. I don't think they do the one in Jersey anymore, but I don't keep up with it like that. I don't think so. I don't think they have it. 6:10 a.m. to yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's when the exhibits open. I know a lot of the conferences will end up like before then. It'll end up like it'll be Monday. Like for example, AMD's will be Mondays at 6:30 Pacific time. So what I'm looking forward to most, I'm hoping to see much more innovation. I'm looking now personally for me, I would say I'm looking forward to seeing the displays a bit more because I'm a bit more curious about what they offer, especially the new tandem OLED displays. I would love to see how they look. And same thing when it comes to the if AMD does have a new offering, I am hoping that they mention a new GPU. That would certainly put them on the map a bit more. But it's a bit scary now because especially the fact that there's such low availability when it comes to RAM and even VRAM. I don't know if it's going to really be that possible. So you going for I would love to. I certainly would. Find out. Yes, I am. If you do got questions at all, guys, make sure to definitely ask them. I will be going live during the time. So when CES is open at 10, for me, it's like 8 p.m. here. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah, because usually I'll be on that showroom floor. I'm typically there like about 8 or 9 o'clock. Like once I hit like the showroom floor. like West Pacific time. Yes, they certainly will drop the 9950 X3D too. I'm a bit mixed on it because I definitely want to wait for the Zen 6. So is there a comparison for what Apple's GPU would be? For them, think of it like this: the way Apple's chip is, their SoC, is practically all in one. So it's the processor, the GPU, the RAM, and the SSD all built into one large chip. So think of it just like that. That is their PC. So they tried to compress everything into one large chip. That's why you can't really upgrade SSDs or the RAM. It's all practically on that SoC, which is the M4 Max. So if you were to compare it, I would say it's probably closer to something more like maybe like a 40. I would say like it's pretty decent, honestly. Like when it comes to graphics wise, probably like 4070. I would say like probably closest comparison would be that. Perfect timing to watch live with you, Chris. For me, this is good. Even I am working that day. Awesome. I won't get that one. I have the 9950 X3D, so I'm waiting for next gen. So I am hoping so, Krauser. Certainly hoping for that. It would be wonderful if that was the case, if that did end up coming out. So what about Intel's and Nvidia's team? So that's a great question, Darkstyle. So when it comes to Nvidia's and Intel's processor, their SoC that they're planning to come out with, it's going to compete more with the ARM chips, similar to what Apple has. So if they do the combination together, Nvidia will focus more on the graphics side. Intel will continue working on what they do best, which is the processor side. But that is supposed to compete more for the likes against like the MacBook Pro. And it's supposed to be a lot more energy efficient when it comes to usage compared to something like even like Snapdragon's. Snapdragon's another SoC that was also trying to compete, which was the Snapdragon Elite 8 version 2 that they had. But again, it's still a bit far off and still hard for them to compete to something up against them, against the M5. So hopefully that Intel's and Nvidia's combination with their SoC will compete with their ARM chip together. And it's funny, we joked about it. They've always wanted the whole x86 architecture in order to create processors. We joked about it. But this is a very good way for them to prove themselves as as like top competition. Now, I am curious to see how it will be if they will officially announce it, like what they are planning. It would be nice to know, especially in CES. For sure, we know that Intel will have Panther Lake, and Panther Lake is going to be in the current laptops and mobile handhelds that they currently have. So we'll definitely take a look once we get onto Intel's floor at CES. So it'd be nice also if Intel would try for high-end GPUs as well. Yes, it seems that Intel's really trying to push for that. They already have like AI graphics cards that they're more focused on because they see that's where the money is, especially when it comes to like they have the dual GPU that they currently have. I think it's the B770, is it? But it has the dual GPUs in there with up to 48 gigabytes of RAM, of VRAM. But again, it won't be useful, especially like in the whole gaming side of things, unfortunately. So next update on the PC this year will be the Phanteks D30 RGB 140mm reversal and normal. That will be amazing. The X870, oh, Takuma. I hope this doesn't piss off our buddy over there, Wasabi. He's a real big fan of the wood boards. Snapdragon did live up to to their hype. I hope that they do. I just want them to improve even better. I just hope that they do. I heard Nvidia is making more money from their software than absolutely that's the case because they're not the C770. What was it? 48 gigabytes. Yeah, it was the I can't think of the name. I will certainly have to look it up. Hey, Intel, Nvidia called the early two. You know what I miss? I know you guys are familiar with this, especially for those who built a PC back then, and that was the whole that was when they had the M-Force motherboards. Remember those? Like, if you had an M-Force motherboard, you were legit set. It does look sick though. I do like it. But I just got the Carbon. Hey, the MSI Carbon's wonderful. I'm happy to hear that there's a lot of MSI Carbon users out there. There's no point to yes. The iPhone 18 is going to feature 8 gigabytes of RAM. So if anyone wants to upgrade to the iPhone 18, go right ahead. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM coming up. That's the main reason why I got the 17 squeeze, is because it has the vapor chamber. And the crazy thing is, it doesn't make sense of how they changed their construction when it came to the iPhone, because they changed it to aluminum. The aircraft aluminum that they changed it out to, compared to their titanium frame, which I felt was much better. When you compared it to like the Samsung S25 Ultra, where they still have the titanium frame and they still have vapor chambers, the temperatures actually remained pretty much intact for the Samsung S25 Ultra and the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So I gotta say, for them to reduce it to aluminum and it's not dissipating heat quicker, doesn't make sense to me. So Boeing aluminum. So I went MSI crazy hard. Hey, I mean, MSI's done great things recently. They've done some awesome things. So sitting on an iPhone 12, NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel for GPU. It's funny, we put that poll up. There was actually more. I'm surprised that there's not much people supporting on AMD side. I would say on AMD side, I would go for a 9070 XT for value and performance. If you have the extra money to get the NVIDIA cards, especially if you are more of production and streaming usage, get the RTX 5070 Ti or higher. I usually recommend, especially if you're going 4K. And Intel is certainly a great value card, I would say. But you have my GPU. I have the Ventus 5090. So, and that electrical laptop. Yes, it's Steve Jobs. Can you imagine if he was no? Can you imagine if he was still alive? Like how he would handle this whole situation? Oh, that's isn't the RT? I doubt it. And just to let you guys know about the rumor about the RTX 6000 series, more than likely they're going to end up changing the name. They axed the GTX series, which is the last one, the great one they have is the 1660. So they axed it off. Now it's for them the fresh starts from the RTX 20 from the RTX 2000 series all the way to the 5000 series. More than likely they're going to change the name from here. This is NVIDIA's pattern, so to say. So they'll probably change it to PTX, maybe for patch tracing, or maybe they change it to some sort of maybe ATX for AI or something. Not ATX, because then you're just gonna think of building PCs, but maybe it'll be like AITX or something. I don't know what they'll think, but anyway, they're gonna probably change the name, and then allegedly what they will do, or they're thinking of doing, is instead of using G7, they're thinking of swapping out the VRAM for HBMs. So instead of having VRAM, you're going to swap it out to HBMs, which is going to cause the pricing of the next generation of NVIDIA cards to go quite up. It's going to be really expensive to get a high-end card if that's the case. Can you imagine them putting HBMs inside of GPUs? That would cause the price to change significantly. So, AITX sounds right. Yeah. DLSS tracings. Yeah, can you imagine DLSS? It would be DLSS 5. Or maybe they just completely change everything. Everything AI. That's the thing. They're going to change back everything to AI. When Steve Jobs introduced the first flat monitor for only $2,000. Yeah. Do you guys remember like when HDTVs like first came out and how expensive it would be to get like a flat screen LCD? That was crazy expensive. Yes. So save now. So if you're trying to get the like if it's called say the 6090, we'll just call it. If it's the 6090, make sure to save at least $5,000 if they go HBMs. It would be crazy expensive. Oh yeah, the plasma TVs were crazy expensive too because of the biggest problem with them was the heat. Remember? Uh, So HBM VRAM slower than GD. What's the point? Uh, you know what? You know what their point is that they want to have a GPU that's able to do more than just game. They want it to be able to be able to do local do practically LLMs. Like practically a typical local learning machine they want. So that way, if you're running, say, NVIDIA's GBT or NVIDIA's AI, that everything will be centralized through your GPU. And I'm sure that's where they're going to head at, is going to be towards that. And when your games require, they'll start to require it instead of like ray tracing, for example. You'll see more developers develop games where they're going to rely a bit more on the AI side to help kind of create the game, so to say. Like not the game itself, but more or so like the thought pattern in the game. So we could see something like that happen with Nvidia. Like that will be probably their new groundbreaking thing. Because you see like little hints of it, like when you can have like a conversation with Nvidia's AI and it can conversate with you. Like I'm sure you guys seen like where they go to like that ramen guy and they're speaking to him and they're having like a full blown out conversation. I'll probably have to do with something like that more, I would think. So, I remember those Walt. Yeah, yeah, it was insane, right? Someone needs the code efficient console emulator. Why do I need a Ryzen 7 uh and to emulate my PS3? Yes. It's because it's like there's a lot to it. Like when it comes to emulation. There's certainly a lot because it's like it's just a simulation of anything. I don't think the 6090 will be released till. I don't think so either. It's going to be some time. The YC RTX away from the. Maybe there isn't 10 letters left, so maybe they go ZTX. More VRAM, more DRAM, RIP. Yes, exactly. That's a big issue. Yeah, PS3 was amazing when it was released. Like just the UI itself was incredible. The fact that like when PS3 had the options of having memory cards, having SD cards, that was a bit insane. Yeah, it's gonna take some time. Unfortunately, because of the situation, it's gonna be delayed. It might even delay upcoming consoles, like how originally it was supposed to come out within the next year. I feel like that's even gonna end up being delayed till 2027. But we do know for sure that Sony's made a deal with AMD, so they're definitely in works with them with the PS6. Microsoft is obviously going to be working with AMD when it comes to their next gen console. Maybe their console is going to be called Series Z, because it would make sense. But as we know, Xbox always likes to change up their name. The PS5 doesn't have the original features of the original PS3. It was pretty insane that the technology they had, especially the cell. I know which thing you're thinking of, which is like the cell processor almost, which has gave the CPU it was like technically like a really AI chip when you think about it, because that was what made like your typical NPCs very different when it came to a PS3, was that cell chip was able to create that intelligence when it came to the MPUs. So technically, the NPCs, I mean, not MPUs. I'm thinking of something entirely different. But NPCs, they would react to that cell chip that would be in there. I feel like I know this whole generation's just been a complete waste. Xbox Series R, their movie hosting, Xbox Series RAM. There were rumors that ASUS was going to make RAM. Yeah, that unfortunately they're not. So, fan guys, I appreciate you guys for coming into the stream. If I do another stream later, I will definitely let you guys know. Just make sure to stay tuned into Discord. You never know when I do a random stream here. And make sure to join in onto the members chat as we're going to switch over to the member side for all those at the roundtable. And thank you guys so much. Hopefully, you guys had a great Christmas. Enjoy it with your friends, family. Don't forget to work out, most importantly, especially from the wonderful dinners that we had. Thank you guys again so much for watching. And for all my wonderful members, I will see you there.